good, thank you. How are you?
Good. Thanks for the sorry about the technical difficulties.
No, I think we're good. I mean, the other girls will tell you, I'm sure, like my Wi-Fi is absolutely shit. We've had constant problems with it. Um, but no, you guys always look really fresh when you come on here and speak to me. I'm like, why are you making me feel better on the
Mhm.
live?
I was like, oh, these girls look like so casual, and so I was like, okay, I'm just gonna do it like makeup free. And then I tried that, and I was like, ooh, no. So
No.
I put on a little something, something, but this is
Listen, everybody knows that when men or anybody else says, "Oh, I like you makeup free," it just means they like a natural makeup look.
1000% right. It's like you don't mean makeup free, you mean airbrushed, and you do still want mascara. You want eyelashes for sure.
Yeah, they
Um,
just mean like not drag queen, yeah.
yeah, exactly. Not drag is what they mean.
What are you doing in Toronto?
I'm actually on a layover.
Oh, okay. Where are you going to?
I'm flying back to Dallas today.
Okay, where have you been?
I was in Toronto last tonight, or it was last night, and then I was in Calgary yesterday, which I actually had to Google the airport code. That doesn't happen to me a lot, but I didn't know Calgary, so just been doing a tour de Canada.
Oh, okay, cute.
Hmm.
Cute. Is it like a press tour or like personal?
Just at work. So
Okay. Okay, well look, I'm sure you're busy, so we can just like get stuck in if you're ready.
yeah, let's do it. I'm gonna try and like post you up here if you can't see my pajama pants. Oh, you can. See.
Oh, that's so cute. It's always funny because it's like when we do it, it's so much earlier for you guys, and then you have your tea, and I'm like,
The same.
oh, I love it.
Love that for you.
All right, well let's start with like the pods and stuff like that because I mean that bit looks so much fun. Like that looks like the most fun bit of the whole experiment.
Yeah, it was I think probably where we got the most time as far as just like not having our phones, not having outside distractions, like it truly was just one-on-one time. So
Yeah.
it was, and then of course like just being in the side with the girls, like it was just nice like because we'd go on our dates and then we'd come out and then we'd continue talking about the dates and be like, he said this, what do you think that means? So it
Oh my
was
God, I
a
love that.
yeah, like you had like I mean, because our phones were taken away, we couldn't call our mom, we couldn't call our bestie. Like it was like walked in and be like, "Girls, we just talked for 3 hours about this, and I don't know how I feel about it. Can you help me?" Um,
Yeah, like we
and
just talked about this. Now we're going to talk about it again, but with each other.
right, right. So,
Yeah.
yeah, the having the girls at least to debrief with was good. But the pods were awesome. We spent so much time in there. We dated everybody. Started at like 7 minutes. Our longest dates were like 3.5 hours. Like we would have to take bathroom breaks. We'd be like, "Babe, I'm tapping out," and like, but we had great dinners in there. People got
Did
burgers. There was a lot.
Did you ever have it where somebody was like, "Oh, sorry, I'll be right back. I'm going to the bathroom," and then they were gone for like 20 minutes?
No, because I think by the time there was one date that we were in there late night and Cole was like, "Hey, he's like one of the guys is gonna tell the girl he loves him tonight, like tonight, and we're all gonna go do a shot." And so he was like, "Hey, I gotta go," and he left to go do a shot. And I was like, "Well, if you're gonna go, I'm gonna go." So I went out and like knocked on all the pod doors, and I was like, "They're doing shots. Come do shots." So
Oh my
um,
God, that sounds so much fun.
it really was. The pods were like when we're wrapped up in blankets, half the time we were tipsy because we'd had wine. Um, and those some of those night dates where we're like wrapped up in blankets are happening at like 1, 2, and in the morning.
Wow.
It was long days, but I mean, it was fun. It was full on.
Yeah, because Colleen, when I did the live with Colleen, she mentioned like about that you guys had like basically free flowing alcohol. Was
Mm,
there ever a point when you were like, "Oops, probably drank a little bit too much that day"?
yeah, there was actually. It's funny that you say that. It was actually one night we'd had wine. I had wine with the girls. First of all, those girls can drink me under the table. Um, and I went in the pod, and I was just on my date with Cole, and I actually found out he and my mom share the same birthday, and I got super emotional about it. And I was sitting on the floor right in front of the blue wall, and I was like, "That's so sweet." And I was like, and I remember sitting there, and I was like, "This is not cute. Like, get it together, girl." And I kind of did a silent vow to myself, like, okay, we will not be drinking this much
This
in the
much. Mm. Yeah,
so
for sure.
after that, every time it was my gold cup, it was water or like green tea in here. So,
I mean, smart decision maybe just because you're being recorded. That's all. But
and 1000%.
was it so when you were like dating Cole? What was I mean initially through the pods and stuff? What was the very first thing where you were like, hmm, or like some like what was the very first thing that you like maybe disagreed with, or where you were like, okay, that's rubbed me slightly the wrong way, or like I'm a little bit unsure about that.
Hmm. It was, oh God, it was so long ago. I guess usually in previous relationships, I'm like, oh, you've been married before, like we're so young, like, and you're divorced, like, and there's multiple reasons those things can happen, right? But the as much as it didn't look like it in the show, and like I didn't ask about it, we definitely like dove into his like past marriage, because I was like, hold on, like I have questions. um so I think in hindsight and watching it back and hearing the timeline again, like I could have revisited, like been like, girl, maybe we should have more questions.
Yeah, like when you asked about his previous marriage, did he like did it make you feel like assured that it was fine to continue dating him? Or I mean, I guess it did because you did.
Yeah, absolutely made me feel that way, because I wouldn't have moved forward otherwise.
Yeah, sure.
What he did share, I was like, okay, like that makes sense. And what I know of you, like I believe this to be, true. And so like you're ready, and you're not, you're ready for a new relationship.
Why did they get divorced?
Um, that is his business, so I will not share. Um, but I think some similar, some similar issues to the ones I had.
Okay, okay. So I mean, just talking of like views and stuff, Colleen had said that when she was in the pods that they spoke about their political beliefs. Did you and Cole discuss that?
Um, I think we did. I think we did.
What are
I,
his?
in hindsight, I think politics is so messy. So like politics for me is something like politics, race, religion are, I was raised, not dinner table conversation, right? And they're like very hot topics now. Um I have friends with very different beliefs. Just I think being well traveled and well rounded, like I can have people, we can have different views and still like a mutual respect for one another. Um, I would imagine Cole and I probably have very different political beliefs.
Yeah, because like, look, I know we didn't get to meet her, but the mum was giving like, I own a gun and I will shoot you if you cross the Mexican border. That was that was the
You, I did not say that. Let that go on the record that I did not say that.
that was the vibe she was giving me. And I don't fucking care because she wasn't there to not give me that vibe, was she? But um what so she because she did say like she felt like you were not the type of girl that he would date. What do you think she meant by that?
Um, I think I read that as most of the world read that. Um, because they, like I said at the bachelor party, they were following me on Instagram. So um, yeah, they saw what I look like, and I did not look like the type of girl. So just like Raven, was like, there's something wrong with that statement. Um, yeah, they never cared to meet me, and they weren't at the wedding. I know that everyone's like, oh, you humiliated him at the wedding. None of his family came to our wedding. So
So, like, because obviously I saw the thing about them like following your Instagram, which I just thought was crazy. I'm like, how are you like? It's so childish that you're following this girl's Instagram, but that you won't actually meet her. I obviously went onto your Instagram after I saw that episode, and I was like, I don't get it. Like, you're not like some Sotiana on Instagram. You're not like with the bum cheeks out or anything. So I don't get like what like I don't get where they were getting that perception from.
Thank you. Yeah, I do have two bikini pics on there. Definitely not a Thadiana. If anything, I'm kind of a prude. Unless you get some alcohol in me and then get with Colleen and start talking how many rounds we've gone for. But no, like I am. I have I don't put all my stuff out there. There's no nudes of me on the internet or anything. Like, so it was, and it was like parents typically love me. Like my ex's parents have all just been like, "What is she doing with you? Like she's a great girl." So it was really hard, especially considering like I was looking for a family and I wanted to marry into one.
Sure. I mean, I'm sure you can tell now that he isn't ready for one.
Mm, yeah, I can.
Um, I did actually see a TikTok yesterday where the girl was saying, um, she was like, "Oh, the women, like, we need to hold the women of Love Is Blind accountable because basically they should have walked away when they saw certain red flags." And I think one of the things she was talking about was Cole's apartment. So, like, I mean,
Very valid. It was very gross. But I had also been called a nag every time I tried to get him to clean up stuff. So I was like, I wasn't surprised when I saw it, which is probably awful that I wasn't surprised. But I literally, when I was like, wow, um, this is kind of what I expected. That the toilet was gross, super gross. But yeah,
yeah, no, I mean, you're lucky that there wasn't somebody chained to the toilet because it was giving sore.
yeah, yeah.
Do you think that you overlooked certain things about him, like including the apartment and stuff, because you'd already made such a strong bond?
Absolutely. Um, absolutely. That was a guy I'd gone on a date with, like first night, and that was the apartment he took me home to, I would be out of there, like running for the no, like blocks
Well,
number will never hear from me again. I've seen what I've needed to see, and thank you so much. uh, but yeah, no, there was a love there, and I did very much want to be like, hey, we can have like I'll pay for someone to come clean this. You know what I mean?
yeah, sure. Do you think that, like, just in general, the girls got done dirty this season? Because now, when we're looking at it from the bigger picture and seeing all of them, it's like,
I would like a refund, and I would like my um. I mean, duh. If you've been on the internet, like yes, 1,000%. I will, and again, I'm a girl's girl. I will lift up those women. They are phenomenal. We had such a good group. Like even so many of the girls that didn't get engaged, so like highly educated, wonderful women, class act women. Um, and yeah,
so like,
that,
what were the other men like if they're the ones that didn't get picked?
um, I think so. The thing about the pods, right, is that we ranked. So we'd have our date, and then we kind of like ranked them at the end of the day. So we date everyone, and you had to number your thing. So I do think like the people with pods, all you've got is voice and like charisma, and of course conversation, right? How well you can hold a conversation. So I do think maybe the most lively in the pods made it towards the end. Like I think you saw like Dakota and Julian in some scenes. They were around till like right before engagements too, and just ultimately they didn't want to propose or didn't want to move forward, which is fine. But I do think like you got the best ones in the pod as far as like personality and things. Like they were picked because we felt something in there. I'm just saying there day one dated all 15, so like day one we dated 15 guys for 7 minutes, and I went in there and we had to rank them like to set like we had to cut them in half, and I
Yeah.
remember going there and I was like, oh my god, this is gonna be so hard, like I can't cut them in half, and it was so easy. It was so
Oh,
easy. 7 minutes I was like, yeah, no, 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 no. So um so I just
I, it's just for me, the bit I'm struggling with is that Cole sold you on the conversation when his conversation was like, "Oh, who would win in a fight, like a dinosaur
he
or a
didn't
cat?"
ask
Like,
me that. I didn't get asked the Baron Gorilla question. My face probably would have been the same as Alexa's. I was asked about the Jonas Brothers, like, and I was like, yeah, it's not for me. Like, I'm not a Jonas Brother. And there were multiple things, like when he told me about like being outdoorsy and hunting, I was like, I'm a city girl. I don't really hunt. I'm not the one that's gonna put on camo and go hunting with you. Like, I was very, very upfront about that. But again, I mean, the hours in the pods are what, like 1.5 episodes, so you just don't see it all.
wait, so he like kills animals and stuff. Okay, that's interesting. I wonder if he's killing bears or gorillas.
I don't. Those are big items for
Yeah,
anyone.
maybe what he should have been asking is like, who's going to win in a fight, a bear or a man-child with a gun?
Mm, yeah, that would be
But
probably better.
I did say that the family gave gun vibes. Okay, let's move on. Was there anything like when you were like watching it back and you were like, oh, like I wish people had got to see that?
I just wish we would have had some more like our reveal moments. When I watched reveal, I was screaming at the TV. I was like, what happened? Like what happened? Like our reveal was so genuine and so sweet. And wish we would have like got back there. But I mean, we had cute dates, we had great times. Like the idea that I didn't have like fun or laugh with him each day, like knowing who he is, like is wild. Like
Yeah.
we there's no way that we would have made it as far as we did if we weren't like he didn't make me laugh every day or we didn't have fun. Like it's just not who he is.
But I mean, like, did you have anything where you were like, oh my God, like that was hysterical. Like that should have made it onto camera.
Hmm.
Oh,
I'm not too sure. He did put a golden doodle in my pod one day that didn't make it. Like
what?
the day girls got like roses. We had talked about moving in together and getting a dog, and he put a golden doodle, like an actual live dog, not a stuffed animal, in my pod. And I just hadn't. I love animals, and so I opened the door and I was like, "Oh my god, there's a baby!" Like dropped to all fours, was crawling around the pod with this dog. So
That's crazy.
yeah,
That's crazy. As if Netflix were like, yeah, okay, cool, like we'll get her a puppy. Like, that's so weird.
yeah, dog, but
Okay, so let's talk about the wedding day because I feel like that was such a big moment between like you two. Um, I mean, firstly, the thing I was so like I was literally sobbing on my sofa when you were saving the seats for your parents. Like that was such a I can see how it was like so bittersweet for you because it's meant to be like the happiest day of your life, but like the two people that you want there the most can't be there. I think it hit a little bit more for me because I lost my mum when I was young too. So that's always something that's in the back of your mind is that like, oh, okay, so for them times when you really want them there, they can't be. Um, So yeah, I don't know. I don't really have a question about that, but I just like I thought that was like really sweet and just yeah, I thought that was like a really lovely gesture that you kept the seats free and that you mentioned them in the service.
Yeah, I asked for that. I definitely wanted a moment for them, and if I ever get another wedding, there will be two seats saved for them. I just it's a day that I've always been like even way before this. Like I get emotional just like thinking about it.
Mm,
Um, so that was definitely the closest I've been to being married, and it was a no brainer to save two seats for them.
that's so sweet. That's really sweet. The wedding itself was definitely like the most shocking one. I mean, I think for me, probably for everyone. Um, what like when you were going up to the altar, what was going through your head at that time?
I think I have, as a hopeless romantic, this idea of looking up at your groom, right? And they're like teared up and they're like, and you're like, that's my best friend. Like, I've been at weddings of my friends and I just remember seeing them tear up and my friends as brides tear up and just being like, that's my person. That's the only person in the room. That's the only person I see. And I think I had that idea in my head for like that moment, and I just we had so many hiccups kind of going into wedding day when I said that I wasn't going to know until I looked up there. Like I just looked up there and he just looked terrified, like just absolutely like let's not, it just felt so wrong. um and just in that moment I was like, we're not each other's people. So it it as much as I wanted to be married and I'd gathered all these people that I love and respect, it was just something I couldn't go through with.
Yeah, because you said in the reunion that you made that decision kind of like on the spot, basically.
Yeah.
Do you still stand by that?
Okay, here's the thing, right? People praised me all season for being well spoken, being able to speak directly, clearly, like not raise my voice, not like I can do that. The idea that I would go up there without a yes in my head or a no in my head is insane. So I had an idea for both. And like I said, when I looked up there and I got up there and I looked over and like the two first rows of his side were empty because his parents weren't, like none of his family came. I was just like, we can't, like there's so many reasons we can't do this, right? Um and yeah, I had the no in my head, I had the yes in my head, and the no got said.
Because yeah, when you were like talking to him, it obviously came across like I mean it was pointed, but I think it just seemed more like you were waiting to say that, like you had that bottled up and you were ready to go.
I think I had tried to all those things. This was not the first time Cole heard any of those things. Um, I think at the cocktail party, I was like, "You've really affected my self esteem." I've tried to be like, have multiple times we've tried to have that conversation. Um, did I have points I wanted to get across? Absolutely. But did I get up there and I was like, let me calculate how to humiliate this man? Absolutely not.
Okay. Yeah, because I was going to ask, like, had you actually sat down with him and had a conversation where you were like, okay, like you're affecting my self esteem negatively. Like, I don't like it when you talk about my weight. I don't like it when you make comments like this.
I think it started as back as early as Malibu with the conversation about Colleen, like, hey, this is really shitty to hear. Um, and like at the cocktail party, I was still just like, I can't look like that. I know what you like. I know you have a different type. I know you have a different physical type. I know I'm different physically. Like he said all these things to me on camera. Beach in Malibu, you're fattening yourself up. You're different than all these things. So I think it was just all of that building up. Um, but yes, we did try to have that conversation multiple times. But I was also when those kind of things came up, it was you have a bad attitude. You're not being sweet enough. And then of course my mental health being questioned. So um up
So, so just, I mean, I was going to ask you this anyway, but like you were saying, can you tell us more about the fattening up comment?
yeah, that was on the beach in Malibu. He had got done surfing and I offered him a bite of food, I think, and he was like, no. I like you're fattening me up or something. And I was like, oh, you're like okay with me fattening myself up? And he's like, you're fattening yourself up.
Right. Yes, I do remember that.
Yeah. So that someone messaged me actually about the sailboat date. I didn't even see it, but she was like, did you know like when the plate of food showed up, he goes, is that yours? About my plate of food. And I was like, really? I was like, I'm gonna have to go back and watch that, but it is there too. I watched it last night. So
Oh wow.
just a lot of comments about food, and that partnered with um, the comparisons to Colleen and me not like I just can't look up, like I can't be whiter, I can't have a ballerina body, unfortunately. So it was all those things, and yeah, we tried to have that conversation multiple times. But wedding, I also stood up there and I was like, I know you're a good guy. Like, I know you are. I don't think you're a bad person. And I told him I loved him, and I did. And that's why I cried afterwards too. I was like, I didn't want the guy to hate me. Um, but it was the best call for both of us. Like it was not going to be a yes for him either, you know?
Mm. So do you think, obviously, because you had said like, oh, you don't think he's a bad guy or anything like that, do you think that the comments that he was making about your appearance and your weight, do you think they were ill intentioned?
I don't think he's malicious. No, no, no,
No.
no. He was intending to do any of that stuff. But I had brought it up, like with the self-esteem, like I can't look like that, you're making like I feel bad because I can't look like this, right? I no, I don't think he's a bad man. I don't think I don't think he had malicious intent. I think that he put his foot in his mouth quite a bit.
So so in my opinion, I think maybe perhaps this is where because there's been such a divide about it. It's been a very polarizing debate. Um, I feel like people have seen that side of things in how you've explained it, and that he's not malicious, and that like maybe he's a bit ignorant, or just doesn't really think too far ahead, or isn't exactly very considerate of you. Um, Whereas I think when people watched the wedding, it had come across as if like your intentions there were to hurt him back after he had hurt you.
Yeah, I can see where people would say that, but it it just wasn't. It just wasn't, and I know it got talked about at the reunion, and I'm like, come on, batch party girl, come forward too. Um, but that was just kind of like one of the last things, one of the last conversations we had, and I was just like, you're so not ready to be married, and you don't respect me whatsoever. Um, so it
Come
wasn't.
on, Zay. You can tell me.
You heard I said what happened at the reunion with the bachelor party girl. Like Cole offered that information to me. The not like I just don't have to make up anything else about what he said. Like taking away everything I said that happened off camera. Look at the stuff that happened on camera. Um, he is that person that will just tell you outright, and he did tell me about that girl, and I just was like, okay, well, this doesn't give me good foresight for our marriage.
No, I believe that part, but the bit where I'm like, okay, come on, like you can tell me, like it's just us here. I I feel like you wanted to cause the scene at the wedding. I feel like, and listen, I'm totally not hating on that, because I get how if somebody has made you feel like, if you've sat there and had conversations with them about your self-esteem and they have basically categorically ignored that and continue to make you feel bad about yourself, I can fully understand why you would want to do that. But I just,
You want me to say like I prepped this speech to go up there and just
yeah,
have
yes,
it.
100%.
So first things first, Deepti's wedding was a week after, or excuse me, a week before mine. So like I didn't know Deepti. No one in these comments
What?
knew Deepti. No one on the internet knew Deepti. You didn't know her story. You didn't know what she was gonna say. So I was not trying to have a Deepti moment. I am not a Deepti. We're very different, as you can tell, because people are like, you had it backfired. So no. Um, did I go up there and have things to get off my chest if I was going to say no? Absolutely. Did I take that opportunity to say them? Yes, because up there, he had to listen to me. I could not be dismissed. My mental health could not be questioned. I could not be told, just be unassuming, be sweet, don't have a bad attitude. He had to listen. And it made people uncomfortable. I get that. But again, his family wasn't there. He had about 15 friends there. I'm just saying, maybe it wouldn't have gone down like that had his family been there. But I said what I said. I stand by what I said. I have no regrets and I would do nothing differently.
Yes, love that. Thank you. That.
You wanted like that. I sat in my bridal suite and was like, how can I do that? But it really wasn't. Like,
No, I don't necessarily think that it was like calculated, like, oh, I'm going to go out then I am going to hurt him. But there was definitely some element of like, listen, if I'm going to say no, I know 100% what I'm going to say. And I'm like, I'm going to tell you because, like you say, he had to listen. And I think that's a fair point.
yeah. I mean, he
I
did
bet,
have, and it was being accountable. So,
and were you like a little bit gassed that he was humiliated?
no, no, I wasn't. Like, because when my mom came in and said that she had gone and hugged him, she told
Mm,
me
yeah,
he
yeah.
crying, and I was just like, he had never cried in front of me. And I got super emotional, and I was like, Mom, that's when I was like, I don't want the guy to hate me. Like, I tried to be so gracious and just be like, I am thankful for him. I am thankful for him. Like, he changed my life for the better. Like, I've gone and done a ton of self work on me and loved on me the past year. And it is probably because that relationship forced me to do so. And so I will take the good memories and I will say thank you. Um, but yeah, no, I never wanted to humiliate him. Like, I honest to God was like, this is the answer he wants. I think he'll be like relieved. Um, but while I'm up here with you, you're going to listen to what I have to say without dismissing me. So,
And just like obviously you said that you have been over the last year, you've been doing like some work on yourself and stuff. What kind of things have you been doing? Because I know you've got like some trolls down there.
oh,
Good.
100%. Yeah. So I left that relationship, went to my mom's for a few weeks and was like, what the hell just happened? But yeah, when I got back into town, I started going to therapy. Huge advocate for therapy, been multiple times in my life. When my parents got divorced, when I lost my mom, when I lost my dad. Um, so went to therapy, have been going. I go every week for an hour, sometimes twice a week based on the week I'm having. And read tons of self-help books, like literally just loving on me, avoiding men at all costs. Um, and just had to do some work to build up that like self-esteem. I was looking for someone or was hoping that I would have a partner that would like gas me up, lift me up, assure me. And I was kind of like a words of affirmation person, which I didn't get so often. So I just have kind of gone to therapy and been working on giving that to myself. So now it's like, yeah, I don't seek that. I no longer need someone to do that for me. Like, I
Sure,
love me and I'm
sure.
good. And I knew that I would have to, this was a year and a half ago. So I knew that I would have to relive this now. And I'm glad. But I'm like, yeah, all the trolls that are like, seek help. You need help. I'm like, you're writing about a stranger online about their mental health. Like, how about we get help? But
Hey,
I was all the trolls are gonna be like, she went to therapy, she listened to us. Like, nope, been in therapy for a year and a half. Thank you so much. Um, but yeah, therapy's been beautiful, and I'm
well,
I'm happy and healed over here. So
well, I think you raised like a really good point in that. Listen, like you had already admitted on the show that like you have insecurities. I have insecurities. Most of us do.
yeah.
And I think that's a very natural thing for us as humans to have insecurities. And we hope that when we get with somebody, like obviously it's down to us to do a certain amount of work as well. But it's just that when we find somebody, you don't want somebody that's going to exploit that or magnify it. You just, like you say, you want somebody that's going to lift you up. And we should have that, but we need to be okay if we don't, and we need to be able to say bye if they're giving you the opposite.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I said in one of my other interviews, like, I can shit on like modern day dating all day long, but at least like dating apps, if you go on a date, like that person at least likes the way you look, right? If you've gotten to date one, like someone's like, yeah, you're pretty enough for me to ask out or go have dinner with, go have drinks with. So yeah, it's you would think and hope that like your fiance would like be that person for you, as far as like you're not gonna chip away at that, right? Like everyone's like, you're so insecure. Like, yeah, everyone has insecurities. Mine were just like tapped into and then also played out on like a world stage, right? But
Yeah.
again, it was a year and a half ago. And I've done the work to where I'm in a much better headspace to go into a relationship should one come.
And I mean, I think it's really great that you have gone and done that, and you have gone and done that work. So I do, like, I fully commend you. Do you think when it first happened, because again, I've spoke about this with the other girls, like of how you're basically living like this dual timeline of experiencing it firsthand and then experiencing it again when you watch it on TV. When it after it had happened the first time, were you like, oh my god, like that is going to be so divisive, or did you just have like no idea?
Meaning what? Like our relationship in the internet would be divided on our.
Yes. So like after the wedding, were you like, oh my god, like people are gonna like love hate me, or like there's gonna be people on my side, there's gonna be people on his side, like
Yeah, like with everything, right? There's going to be people on both sides. I think nothing could like prepare me for. I mean, I've never done anything like this, so I I didn't really like. I honestly thought it would be. What did I actually think it was going to be? I I guess because I lived it, I thought people would see it like more obviously.
mm,
Um, but I mean, I always knew like, I mean, he's an attractive guy. Like, I knew he would have his like fans. So, I mean, I always knew he was going to be just fine, and he's just fine. So,
okay, so are you saying that the people that are supporting him are the pick me girls?
I'm just saying.
um, okay.
That's not mine. That hasn't been mine for a year and a half. I want, like, if you love him so much, his page at Cold Bread and Bar, like, go. He's as far as I know, he's a single man. Like, and I think he replies to DMs. So go for it.
You didn't reply to mine though.
He did.
No.
Maybe he hasn't seen it. Sure, he's flooded with fan mail.
I mean to I mean to be honest, I didn't expect him to reply because I was like, obviously like I'll reach out to the girls and stuff because well, I knew like a couple of you had followed me anyway, but I also felt like this year I just went in way harder on the men, and I just thought there's no way that Cole or Baptiste are going to want to talk to me because they're just going to think that I absolutely hate them and that I'm there to grill them, which would only be half true, you know.
Yeah, yeah.
Um, I'm just so surprised at like how passionate people are about this. So I mean, look, I'm sure you've between when the show ended and now you've probably done a ton of interviews already talking about this, and I know for a fact that I've seen ones that you've done before where you've spoken about the cutie scene.
Mm.
Do you think like when you watch that back and like when Netflix played it back at the end of the reunion, were you like, oh, now it's going to be even more divisive? Or
Uh,
were you still like, he should not have been behaving like that?
no, he should not have been behaving like that. Two cuties has never ruined an appetito. so no, so Cole asked for the footage during the reunion, right? He was like, if you have it, roll it. I afterwards I went up to one of the producers and I was like, hi, I know which day it is. This is the day it was. It was the day we went to dinner. I'm in the yellow dress. It's a few hours before that. Please find it. Like I had been asking, like I had wanted it Not that I have any say so in production, but I knew it existed and I had wanted it in the actual show. But regardless, I don't produce it. So we both asked for it. Um, I've kind of had mixed feelings, but I'm glad it aired and people can like formulate their own opinions on it, right? Um, I said what happened verbatim. The clip airs exactly as I said it did, like as what happened, right? I said what happened, word for word, it showed. Cole said it never happened, and then if you have it, air it. Um, and somehow I was the liar, but I'm not getting into it with the internet. But yeah, no, I'm glad they used it, and people can, people see it both ways, and there were
Yeah,
two of us in a relationship, so it's a toss
I
up.
don't think it was necessarily like whether the incident had happened or not. I think it was more just like the tone in which it was perceived in, because when we watched it back, it seemed like he was being very playful. Like just a couple minutes before that, he seemed like really excited to go and meet your family in England, and he was like, "Oh, we
My
can go here, we can go there," and you what?
my people, my
Oh,
people.
I didn't say that, did I? I said your family.
No, no, but he said my people.
Oh, okay. Did you take offense to that?
No, no. I
No.
mean, Middle East, but neither is England. But it's neither here nor there. But what I will say that yes, Cole always had like this playful, which doesn't mean that things aren't hurtful that come out of his mouth. But was he joking
Mm,
around per usual um, of Cole? What I would say to that, my response, I think I said something like, "Yeah, do you have a problem with that, or that okay with you, or something?" Is a very defensive response and not the normal response of someone who's only been asked one time. Are
sure.
you, what are you eating? Like,
Yeah.
be eating that. Do you want to eat this instead? Like, that's just not a normal response, is all I'll say.
Sure.
But people have watched it. People are just going to take it. There was so much that happened leading up to that 5-second clip, whatever. People liked me until then, I guess. I don't know. But it like switched up. But it's reality TV, it's curated for ratings. I'm glad everyone enjoyed it.
Listen, that is the best way to see it, because out of any genre of TV, reality TV, there is gonna be somebody who like people just don't take to or they dislike for a certain reason. And because it is portrayed as reality TV, people just, it's so much more streamlined towards that person in real life, I feel.
100%. And here's the thing, people are gonna, I am the most not villain. So like people will get tired because I'm not gonna do villain things. Like I am not. But you know what? Every season has one, and statistically, the female villains from this show do extremely well. So I'm
Do
not
they?
pressed.
What's
No.
Shayna doing now?
Shayna's got a gorgeous man, a very successful, gorgeous man
Oh yeah.
in Greece. Like, she's fine.
Yeah, I'm
She's
like so happy for her. JK. Okay, so what about you? Are you seeing anyone since the reunion? Are you dating anyone?
no, no, been on a good little man fast, avoiding men. Um, yeah, my my therapist is the only man in my life. But yeah, no, just loving on me. I'm just really not. It's not that I'm not looking, but I'm also just not into forcing anything. Like someone wants to show up and act right, great. But
Okay, so just to like round things up a little bit, well, I want to ask you this, and then there's one more thing that I want to ask you about. So definitely have your tea ready for that. But um, what advice would you give to somebody that like is maybe thinking of going on the show?
make sure you have a support system. Make sure you have thick skin. You need it for this. Um, yeah, just be fully prepared for fallout because I mean I'm still in this moment extremely proud of my journey. Um, I stand by everything I said. I went out there and I really did try to fall in love with someone blind, and I did. Um, when Cole was talking about our dance lesson and saying easy yes, like when he proposed, I was like, that's the easiest yes of my life. Like, thought I'd found my person. So yeah, just I mean, I think you can go on there and try to play to be someone you're not. I didn't. I was myself. But yeah, just have a support system and be prepared for the onslaught because the internet's crazy.
Yeah, do you think like no matter how prepared you think you are, you just can never really be prepared for it because it's such a unique experience?
1000%.
Mm.
1000%. I mean, I've always like kept my socials private, my love life private. I love that I used to love that like people that I no longer have in my life didn't have access to me, didn't know what I was doing. So to go from that to a public page with X amount of followers and people that don't know me that think they can, I mean, I've been called everything. I've been given death threats, wished terrible afterlives for my parents that have passed on. Like, the internet's disgusting. And it's just a bunch of people that watched a reality TV show and think that they can comment on your life. But you just can't. I think Colleen mentioned it in one of her interviews. Like, you don't build thick skin overnight. And
Mm.
everyone's like, turns your comments off 1000% because hate is so ugly, and then people that are actually saying nice things, trolls are going and bullying them too, and I'm like, yeah, I'm not going to be a part of this, so I'm just going to turn it off till y'all calm down or can act right. But
But also, like, why? I don't get the thing. Like, if you're being bombarded with negativity, why would you not turn your comments off? Yeah, I'm removing negativity from my life so that I can live a better one.
1000%, like that's one thing I've worked on the past year is just red flags, seeing them, like dipping, healthy boundaries for people, and just not being a people pleaser, doing what everyone expects me to do. And 100%, like I was like, this is my page. Yes, it can be public and you can look at pictures, but 11,000 comments of hate and you're bullying people. Like, people were messaging me and like, hey girl, I think the world of you. I had to take my comment down because my notifications were blowing up, but I don't want you to think like I still think this, and this about you. Like, you're great. I don't take it back. And I'm like, this is pathetic. And yeah, I shut him off. Like,
I mean, I just
I
think
will
like,
now, but I'm just, I will never ever respond to hate with hate. You're
yeah,
expecting to get a rise out, meant back of mention, not gonna happen. Like, go talk trash about me on some other page, it's really not a thing. Like, it's really not a thing. Again, I did the work the past year and a half to prepare myself as much as I could for this, even though I still wasn't prepared. None of us were. But yeah, I just won't. I don't do bullying. I won't do it. Like, everyone's like, seek help. I'm like, I hope you heal. Like, you're writing such ugly things about someone you do not know. Like,
yeah.
we're probably never in the same room together. So like, type it. But I'm praying, I'm praying you heal.
I mean, I genuinely don't think there's any excuse for cyberbullying, especially not to the extent of like death threats and stuff. Although one thing I will say is that there is always an exception to the rule. So if you want to go and tell Caitlyn Jenner that she's a fucking cunt, please do so.
Oh, okay.
I just think Kate. Sorry, that's really off topic, but Caitlyn Jenner is just like the worst person ever. Like, how can you? Like, how did we let you get away with murder and then you just like shit all over your own community? I just think it's awful.
Yeah, lots of hypocrites. Lots of
Yeah,
hypocrites. And also like those people can also like, people learned new words this season. Narcissist, manipulator, gaslighter, all these things. Go take a Psych 101 class or pick up a psych book because promise you 99.9% of these people don't know what the word means. And like, when my mental health was questioned, like everyone's like, you humiliated him in front of the world. I'm like, my mental health was questioned in front of the world. I've gotten so many messages like, you have this, and I'm legit screenshotting them, sending them straight to my therapist. I'm like, what about this one? And he's like, gonna you every week for the past year. We're good here. I would know if you had any of this stuff. You absolutely don't. I'm like, thank you, because like, that'll, words have weight, right?
yeah.
fortunately, as long as I have this platform, those words which he used will be attached to me. So it's wild. It's
Yeah.
what I'll say. And anyone that wanted to do it, just have a support system and people to keep you grounded, because this stuff is ultimately like all it's noise, right? So
Yeah, okay. Well, like I'm glad that you have like seen a therapist and stuff like that and that you are able to block out the negativity. I am gonna let you go and continue with your day, but I do want to ask you, tea at the ready, um, about the Raven and SK situation because okay, you're giving me statue right now. Why are
I
you so still?
was trying to be frozen.
Yeah.
Um,
I was like, has the screen crashed? So okay, so firstly, is Raven okay?
Raven it is okay. Yeah.
Okay, good. Secondly, were you surprised?
Um, yeah, I mean, I found out when the world did, right? Like,
But
so
that was the question.
I
Because obviously, Raven's friend has been on TikTok talking about how she saw it coming from a mile off, and oh, do we? Is she cancelled?
she's not canceled. I'm not going to do that because people are trying to cancel me. But I'm pretty sure Ravens on several platforms have been like, "That's not my friend." So
Yeah, I did see her post a story today, and she had said about being betrayed by like other girls and stuff like that, and I presumed that that was who she was talking about.
right, right. We've got we've yeah. She just that no like and I'll it's their relationship. They should speak out on it. And until they've said more, they're working. They put out that statement. Raven's just fine. Raven will be just fine. So will SK. But it's one thing to have something like that happen in your private life, right? And you deal with it amongst like your close friends. But to have something like this play out, like I feel for her very much, but she will be just fine.
Well, so this was the other thing that I wanted to talk about, but apparently somebody saw them together in Costco, like yesterday.
I think if you've been on TikTok, lots of people saw them at Costco yesterday. I don't have the tea on that.
Oh, so that was real. That it was them.
It was them as far as TikTok looks like. Yeah. I mean, I don't know. You can spot Raven's curls anywhere.
Okay.
So
Interesting. Interesting. We might have to. I'm so confused right now, because SK was saying to the girl, "Oh, it's Love is Blind was just for the money. Like me and Raven are just friends." Um, so then I was like, "Oh, like maybe that is true. Maybe him and Raven were like, look, we're just not like that compatible, but like we should stay friends, kind of thing." But this is like a TV opportunity. We can just go with it, type of thing. But then I'm like, even if that was the case, why would they be shopping together in Costco? I don't know.
um again, their relationship that they need to speak on, but they always seemed very much in love whenever I was around them. The relationship that they've had to keep secret for a good part of a year and a half, in
Mm.
my eyes, my understanding was always very real and very genuine. So
Okay.
surprised, everything on TikTok, like the rest of the world, like just shocked, right? Because um, there, we all believe. You are putting me in such a hard spot right now. Just shocking, like everyone else being shocked. Like it's again, and it's just showing them, giving them privacy and respect, because it is some like we all went out there and chose to do this in front of the world, but I know that Raven didn't sign up for this.
Yeah, sure. Do you know, like, because he mentioned about like legal proceedings? Do you know what that was about? Or because I was like, what? No.
No, I don't.
Yeah, because I was like, what? What are you talking about legal? Like, you didn't even get married. I don't get it. But
No,
okay.
I'm like, I'm just gonna sit back and like whenever you're ready to talk to me about it, you can talk to me about it.
Okay, fine. Okay, well, thank you so much for like hopping on here today. Like, I really appreciate your time and everything, and I hope you had fun. I had fun.
I had a great time. Thank you so much.
Okay, good. And yeah, thank you again, and I'll definitely speak to you soon.
Okay, cool. Bye,
All
guys.
right. Bye bye.